Peace, Barricade.
Hello, this is Maria Cernat, your host. I am an academic based in Bucharest, and I have today the pleasure of inviting to our cameras and microphones Wolfgang Lieberknecht. I hope I'm not mispronouncing the name. I hope I'm at least close. He is a long-standing peace activist. He has decades of militancy. He has decades of fighting against war and spreading the message of peace worldwide. He is also the coordinator of Peace Factory, an organization based in Wanfried, Germany. And he is also involved in all sorts of activities, cultural ones. Let's mention the Black and White musical group, where he invites a number of musicians also to put this message of peace in music. Welcome to the podcast, to our show. Oh, and a very nice cat.
Okay. 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 Yeah, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
the topic of our discussion today is rather, how should I say? It's in a sense paradoxical. I mean, you have a very, very controversial, a very, how should I say, misogynistic, conservative person like Donald Trump, but since he came to power, he's speaking about peace. He's speaking about ending the war in Ukraine. He's speaking with the Russians, something that never happened when President Biden was in office. He's discussing and he negotiated quickly a ceasefire in Gaza. And of course, all this is combined with crazy declarations about removing the Palestinians from Gaza, with declarations about putting sanctions on Russia. And it is his style. You don't know what to make of it. But at least for my part, I am happy to see that at least the word peace is uttered by somebody, and at least there is talk. And on the other hand, I don't know how to explain it. Politicians, both I think in Romania and also in the mainstream parties in Germany, are expressing horror, as if Donald Trump was suggesting using nuclear bombs. And he's suggesting peace. And I don't know how to understand this. Maybe I'm new to the movement. I became a very, how should I say, active in the pacifist movement due to the fact that the war is so close to me now. I have to admit, it was this fact that made me get closer to the pacifist movement. But you have a lot of experience. How do you understand what's going on now?
I must say, for me, it is not clear, I must say. No? Today, I read something that maybe one strategy could be that Donald Trump only want to get access to the resources of Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore says we want peace, yeah, sets them under pressure. And let's see, a lot of these resources he wants, they are in the areas which are controlled by Russia. So that he just wants to have a high price for participating in the conflict, I don't exclude that this could be a very negative plan, that the Americans get enough out of this conflict so he can justify it to his own population.
Mm-hmm.
So this was also, I read it and I said, oh, it's also not impossible. So I'm not sure. You know, there were statements from the new politicians that USA doesn't want the hegemony anymore, to be the dominant power, that they have to accept that we have a multipolar order, that they have accept that the war in Ukraine can't be won. And these were extraordinary, I tell you. There were new words we heard from politicians which you don't nearly hear from any European politician. Till today, they want to fight till the end, even if they see that this war is lost, how I see it, and even if they see that every day hundreds, if not thousands, are dying, is no problem for them. And even if they see that Europe, the social system of Europe is more and more in danger because the money they spent for this war. And now they come with new ideas, even to escalate the money they want to spend. Yeah, they want to make some 200 billion more to put in this war. And I don't know how it is in Romania, but even in Germany, the health system is going down, is getting weaker, the education system and reform plans, there's no money anymore. The policy about climate to reduce, to slower the climate change, these are also not any more topics. And this is very dangerous for us, I must say. And they also don't discuss how much the war contributes to climate change, yeah, and the armament. Oh man.
Yeah, yes, this is very weird. And I thought that the weirdest of all was the Green Party in Germany, because of course they are not straightforward pacifists, as I discussed with other guests in our show. Weiner Braun said they are not pacifists, they never were. But at the same time, I think it is in the internal logic of the Green Party to be pacifist, because why are you fighting to save the planet if everybody dies from the war? When you are saving the life of the planet, but not the life of the people, it doesn't work like this. I mean, I always thought that it is in the internal logic of the Green Party to be also pacifist. And yet, you have in Germany the worst case of warmongers in the persons of people like Annalena Baerbock from the Green Party. What's going on?
Yeah, those people who formed the Green Party, this generation is dead. They are not anymore in positions. And now we have younger people who really have another agenda. And these are people who were also supported from many networks. Those who are now in the Green Party, yeah, you are right. They are one of the parties who are most pushing. But the probable new chancellor from the Christian Democratic Union, he has also a horror program. He wants to send this Taurus missile, with which the Ukrainians can attack Moscow. And German generals, they had a talk, and it was taped and published. And they said very clear, without direct involvement of German soldiers, the Ukraine can't use it. So that might be that Germany now again is part of a direct attack on Russia. And I heard now one, after the Second World War, we had a declaration of enemy states. And so the party, the states of the anti-Hitler coalition, they have the right, even one of them, to go against the enemy states like Germany if they attack them. So from my point, independent what US does, it is now very risky if this person comes to power, and it's likely like this, that he might escalate the war if they really attack Moscow or the Taurus Bridge, the Kerch Bridge.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yes.
The Kerch Bridge, it's very dangerous now. And Putin more or less has declared states who are participating he sees them as direct enemies. So I even
Well,
yeah.
of course, but you know, I heard some commentators, military commentators, saying that luckily in this situation, the Europeans cannot operate these missiles without the satellite data from the Americans, and that the Ukrainians are relying heavily on Starlink and satellite data from the Americans, and that if they don't give it, then the Europeans cannot operate these highly sophisticated missiles.
My knowledge is not enough if this is also for this Taurus, this German missile. Yeah, if they need it or not, this I don't know. It looks like it flows very, very nearer to the ground, and is very difficult
To intercept.
exactly, and to go against it. So I don't know if they need US help or not. So the German elections, maybe it's also my view, yeah. Also the Christian Democratic Union, who were in the opposition, they got the most votes, but not as expected. And because the former German government was very weak, had no popularity, but even then, this biggest opposition party, they won, but not how they believed they can win. And this man is not very popular, Mr. Merz, because he's a BlackRock. He was a BlackRock manager very long time.
Oh.
So there might be special interests also in it. Yeah, it's really a manager now, and we all know BlackRock belongs a lot in Ukraine already. So, and we might get this person, and he also have made statements. I have no fear from an atomic war, and that he also said, and he also stated, freedom is more important than peace. Peace you get on the graveyard. So we get now.
No comment. I mean, no comment.
We get now maybe a chancellor, and the leading government party till now, the Social Democrats, it seems they are very open to his proposals. This we must say. In the elections, the only party who clearly said we need peace is the Sarah Wagenknecht party. It was a split from the former left party. They are the only ones who say very clear, yeah, we need peace. We need peace, we need negotiation.
But Sarah Wagenknecht is not currently in the Bundestag. Did she met the threshold of 5%?
No, she got 4.97%. But there are some strange things why maybe she did not meet. No? It seems that millions of Germans who live in foreign countries could not vote. And then also there are some things which are not clear about how her vote was counted. She tries to go to court that it is controlled. So but I don't see the chances very big there, but there are few chances that there were re-elections. I don't give it much hope, but a small chance is there. And the point was the left-wing party who was before weak. And
Die Linke.
Die Linke, no? And it was more or less clear that they don't come in the parliament. They have now a leader who is a bit more on NATO side and against Russia. And because of this, the medias who never promoted the left, this time they started to promote the left, I think, to get people from not to vote for Sarah Wagenknecht.
But what about this lady, Alice Weidel? She is from the far-right party Alternative für Deutschland. And what is her position with regards to the war?
Her position is also a peace position.
Really?
Yeah? Yes, she want in this point. Now, she's a big supporter. They are a big supporter of Israel against Palestine. Yeah. They are also, they want even 5% of
GDP.
exactly for war. For also they are not, let's say, they are for a strong German army, not a strong German NATO army.
Aha.
This is the
Another
point.
type of craziness. Pro-war,
Exactly.
but local. Let's make our own. Aha.
Genau, German army should fight for the German interests, not for US interests. Yeah.
Aha.
So
Aha.
also very, very dangerous. No? This is an old tradition of Germany, anti-Russia tradition in the First World War and the Second World War. And also they believe how big they are and that they are, yeah. Also therefore also very dangerous. No? But in this one point, they are for peace with Russia. And there are also some voices who are for peace with China. But on many other points, yeah. And now the point is that the left party now came in the German parliament. One reason is also that that why Sarah Wagenknecht, from my point, they did some mistakes. One point is they voted with these right wings to stop migrants, refugees, to come to Germany. So with this new chancellor, CDU, he brought it in, and the AfD, even he said before, I never will vote, cooperate with the AfD, with the right-wing people, but then he brought in statements, and then the left supported it. Sarah Wagenknecht supported it. And the left wing was the only party who was on the other side, yeah, who was clear against.
So basically, the leftists in Germany voted for a party that was not against migration, but that was pro-NATO, and this is Die Linke. And they voted out Sarah Wagenknecht, who was pro-peace but was against migration. These were the lines that divided the leftists.
This is one point. The second point is climate policy. Sarah Wagenknecht is also not strong in climate policy, I must say. Yeah, and there the left is stronger. So people who before voted for the Green Party and don't like that the Green Party is now pro-war, they voted now also for the left party. So this, they made a big success. Yeah, they got people from Sarah Wagenknecht because of migration, and because Sarah Wagenknecht made compromises with the right wing in voting for this. This they didn't like, so anti-right wing was the left, and the left is more for migration and climate policy. So for me,
I understand now.
For me, I'm really divided now between the two groups. In fact, I voted one vote for Sarah Wagenknecht because I see still that is the main risk for our future, that this war escalates. But on the other hand, I voted also for the left because, for me, the main point in the migration policy is to overcome the reasons why people have to flee. And we are one of the responsible factors. We have destroyed so many countries where people flee from. Iraq, Afghanistan, where we had nothing to do. Yeah, Syria, Libya. And then the unjust trade relationships, which are still in a colonial idea, that we don't pay for the minerals from Africa and other countries. These are all reasons. And naturally, our climate policy will destroy the living conditions in many parts of the world, even where people flee from. But this discussion were out in the process of the voting before. It was not discussed how, this I must say, it was 4 or 5 years, it was different. There was a strong stream who said we should not fight refugees, we should fight the reasons why people have to flee. But it's more or less out today.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I understand. But at the same time, you know, what you revealed about um, with Merz, the politician that is about to be the chancellor, is quite frightening. Equally frightening is the fact that the Prime Minister of Denmark said something that seems to be taken out of 1984 George Orwell novel. She said that peace can be more dangerous than war. And I don't know what's going on with these people. How did we ended up here? You have a lot of experience, and I think, and my intuition is that unfortunately the pro-peace movement became so marginalized that people don't realize how dangerous such declarations are.
No, I agree with you. My father and grandfather, they were in the wars. Our generation, we were the backbone of peace movement. We said never again. And when we were young, we saw the Vietnam War and saw that the US also is very violent and makes wars, as Germany before. But this new generation, they don't have this experience from their parents, from their grandfather. For them, is war very far. And Mr. Immanuel Kant, he always warned, he said, peace is not a gift. You have to work for it. Otherwise, you will lose it. Because there are people who are on top, they like the war because they their power can get bigger through war, and they don't suffer in the wars. The common people have to pay for the wars and for the debts at the end. So for them, it's no problem to decide to go to war. And so Kant said, if you don't unite, you as common people who are the victims of wars, they always will continue, the leading minority, to use you. And but for the young generation, it was very far away. They thought peace is always there. They have no experiences. No? And then they mobilized against Russia, with ideals. They said it's a break of international law. They never mentioned that the West has done this 100 times. The same international laws attacking other countries in Yugoslavia, in Iraq, in Libya, in so many countries. But here they don't create awareness about it. And many people don't know it. Now, even Yugoslavia, you did not see the bombs falling. It was excluded. They did not see it. But when Russia invaded in Ukraine, they showed here how horrible every day war is, and developed sympathy. Even the war, you know, it started 2014.
Yes, but it seems that Olga Karach quoted some of her friends who said a very wise thing. They hate the Russians, not the war.
This is also a point. Even we have in Europe, Russophobica, enmity against Russia. Now, this is, in what I've heard in Britain, is very, very strong. So it's very useful even to speak against it. Britain is in Italy, in Germany, and in France, there are still forces who are against it, this anti-Russia sentiment. In Germany, especially Gorbachev, he was loved from the people. They loved him. Yeah? And saw a big hope to come out of the whole mess of the divided. So he made a lot for that Russian, a lot of partnership movements. I also had created one with a town near Moscow. And at this time, there was a big chance. And now every day we hear in our news that they are dangerous, that they attack cables in the East Sea, all small points, all what they can find, even if it is pure speculations, that Russia wants this and this, and all they said Putin never wanted to negotiate, all wrong things. But many people believe it.
And the moment you deviate from the line, the moment they label you as a Putinist, and I don't see this as a danger for the common people. But when it comes to politicians and they behave like teenagers, the moment they have some information that contradicts their narrative, they start, reacting hysterically. I think this is very dangerous because let's face it, the ideal would be to have negotiations with Russia to get along and to have one big continent with Russia. And this would be the ideal world. The ideal world will be one in which you don't see Russia as the constant enemy. But they don't want to see it. They consider that the only way to have this type of peace in Europe and negotiations and, collaboration with Russia is to kill its leadership. Now, how crazy is that?
Yeah, from my point is since 500 years, they can't come on again. Since 500 years, the Europeans thought they have the right to control the world. In the whole colonial time, because they were the first who developed strong national states, a strong administration, and they had their industry. So they were militarily superior. So they conquered the whole world. And in this arrogance, they are living up to today. They are better, so the people were trained, all their civilization is better. Yeah, the others are all underdeveloped or not capable. And this is here till today. And they don't recognize that this time is over. That with China, we have an economy which is getting stronger, which have more technical successes than they have. And they don't understand that Russia today is militarily, can compete with them. They thought, and here the people were praised, this war very fast, it is over. Putin is dying, and we have wonder weapons. They can't do anything against it. So they lied to us that the people understand, this is not a big thing. We will win very fast, and then it's over. And so they fooled us all. And now Europe goes in panic. They are going in panic because they see now, no, Russia has got very strong. We can't defeat them. And now they have fear that US might leave them alone. So, and then the Europeans experiences, from my point, what the whole world has experienced from the Europeans. You can't defend against strong powers. So at the conclusion we made in 1945, therefore we need law-based security system, the United Nations, that even weak countries, all other countries, they don't have the weapons to defend themselves against Europe, against the West. They can't, and the West has used it to occupy them, like Libya, all these countries. Yeah, so the weaker countries have only, from my point, one chance. We need international security system as agreed in the United Nations, with strong international institutions who stand above every country and are strong enough to forbid them to make any kind of interventions and so on. And this was the agreement of the anti-Hitler coalition to create such a world. And even a lot of Africans at this time supported it because they had seen that they can't defend themselves against the Europeans. So, and today, from my point, Europe faces something that they also can't think, we have such a strong military, we can dominate everything. Today, they have started to listen what are not only their interests, but maybe also the other interests. And what was stated in the Helsinki process, the others have the same right as you have, so you have to negotiate the interests to balance them. And the West till today have the idea, we dictate, and the others have to swallow. Genau, and have to swallow it and do what we want. And if not, then we destabilize them with our money, with our NGOs we can finance, with medias we can finance. It's coming out now all. with this US aid, with what officially and partly also true, humanitarian association, but behind. They destabilized other countries in financing NGOs and medias who destabilized them. And what I understand now, when they speak about autocracies, for every weaker countries, economically weaker countries, it is very difficult to give a full open democratic space, because the richer countries can use it to undermine it, their sovereignty. They come in and pay people in your country who are not, therefore, the civil society of their country and the citizens, who are working then for foreign countries. And then they are blamed as autocratic. Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes.
you
I
see
see that this system creates, I saw that this system, the current system, creates authoritarian opposition. Because if you come to think about it, you have countries that are led by authoritarian leaders that oppose the United States. It is very difficult to oppose the United States that have a democracy, isn't it?
exactly
It's very
this.
difficult.
And this is a very difficult problem for us. On one
Yes.
hand, in our societies, we need a very democratic system, our chances to speak and everything. Yeah, but the Western countries use it for their aims, and you always find people you can corrupt or just pay, yeah? Or even they believe that it is good what you say, yeah, and don't understand that they work for foreign interests. Yeah, and I undermine, they don't understand it. So it's true. It's for us as politicians or the activists in our countries, democratic activists, is really a problem.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. We come to the end of the show. We've been speaking for 40 minutes, and I thank you so much for your time, for your experience. We will have you back again to discuss these issues, because it's rarely that I get the chance to discuss with somebody that has so much experience and doesn't see pacifism, from all the rosy picture, but sees it as a real deal and a fight, a constant fight to obtain it, to maintain it, and to a non-violent, if you like, form of fight and militancy, but still an effort. Let's not call it a fight, but let's call it a constant effort in order to advance peace. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. And I thank also the viewers, if they watched and if they like it, please like and share our content. Independent voices, pro-peace voices in Europe. I hope you help us amplify the message of peace. Thank you again.
Thank you very much that you got me. And please send me, if possible, the link or the tape that we put it also on our channel. No? Okay,
definitely.
goodbye.
Definitely.
We continue. No?
We continue.
Peace, Barricade.